Hey everyone, my name is Steele Johnson. I'm a hobby photographer here on YouTube, and today we're going to talk about why I no longer trust Portra 400. So if you saw my previous video, you know I did a review of this Canon EOS Rebel G. If you haven't seen that, click the card in the top corner to watch that. But I took this camera with me to Southern California this past weekend and was planning on putting a roll of Portra 400 through it. I did exactly that, and Portra let me down. Before I put Portra in this camera, I was still finishing a roll of Fuji from my trip to Louisville, from living here in Nashville. I was taking my time getting through that roll, so I had a few shots left, and so I decided to finish out that roll on the start of our trip. Honestly, this Canon EOS Rebel G was great. The images are sharp, it is so easy to use. I shot everything in aperture priority, and it worked perfectly. While Fuji is not the best film stock, it is cheap, it is easy to come by, and it's just a reliable film stock. You know what it's gonna look like at the end of the day. We were out in Mission Viejo, California. I was out there for a training trip. For those of you that don't know or are new to this channel, I'm an Olympic medalist. I went to the Olympics in 2016 for diving, and I'm still diving. So I was out there for a training trip and decided this would be a perfect time to shoot Portra. I'm in Southern California. I'm gonna be able to see sunrises and sunsets and see covered cars, and the golden hour is gonna be great. Portra's just the best option for that. So I thought, I had this roll of Portra sitting in my fridge. I was saving it for just the right trip, which I thought this would be. So I loaded up that bad boy into my Rebel G and got shooting. 36. This video is gonna kind of jump back and forth a little bit, but I need to talk about the images before I really show too many of them, because as you're gonna see, they didn't turn out good at all. I've shot Portra 400 in the past, and it's okay. I don't think I was really in the right setting when I was shooting it last time. I didn't have enough knowledge of shooting film, but still enjoyed it nonetheless. This roll that I shot just turned out really bad. I don't know if this roll of film was stored improperly before I received it, or if it was just processed wrong, it wasn't developed right, if it was left in too long or taken out too early. I don't really know what went wrong because it's the same ISO as the Fuji roll that I shot. I left all the ISO settings the same, still used aperture priority, and somehow this roll just turned out like this. When I posted these photos to Instagram, a lot of people messaged me saying that it's just underexposed. All the photos were underexposed. But I don't think I believe anyone saying that, because the Fuji roll that was also ISO 400 had no issues, but this one did. The camera was set to ISO 400. The settings were where they needed to be. The light meter was telling me I was in the right spot, and it just didn't work out. And I don't know why, but I tried my best to salvage the images. And while I think this might be the worst roll of film I've ever shot, I tried to save it because it's Portra 400, which is now stupid expensive. There's really not much I can say. I'm open to anything in the comments if you guys have any ideas. I sent this roll of film off to the Darkroom Labs, which is where I send all my film, and I've never had an issue with them. Even though this roll got messed up, the Fuji roll I sent in that same package to them came out perfect. And so I really don't think it's an issue of developing or scanning. It had to be something with the film stock itself. I don't know, the scenes I was seeing with my eyes and I thought I was capturing with the camera were so cool. The morning I was walking around the neighborhoods of Mission Viejo, California, it was incredibly foggy, but there was sunlight peeking through the clouds, peeking through the fog that was creating this awesome gold hour at like 6 in the morning. It was so beautiful, and you just can't tell from these images. It just didn't translate. While we were out in California, we met up with some family at Laguna Beach, got drinks with them, got dinner with them, and I decided, hey, it's golden hour again. Let's take some more images, and it just didn't work out. And I think this is a great example of why shooting film can be so amazing and why it can be so heartbreaking, because you never truly know if the images are going to turn out the way you want them to, or if they're gonna turn out at all. Composition-wise, I thought I was doing great, but I'm still at the mercy of the film stock. And if the film stock is not stored properly or it's expired without actually knowing it's expired, there could be a million issues with it. And unfortunately, I experienced some issue that ruined these photos. And it's another thing of, do I switch to a Fuji digital camera with film simulations rather than shooting film? The price difference really doesn't matter to me because a Fuji camera is so expensive, but if I shoot enough rolls of film, it's gonna be so expensive where it's kind of a wash. It's more so the Fuji camera that's digital, it's a digital image. I know I'm gonna have a good, clean image to work with, but the film look is something I still just can't seem to replicate in a digital form, and that's why I keep shooting film. But going 1,000 miles away from home with this idea and this excitement of shooting Portra 400, getting home, waiting a week, and realizing none of the images turned out is really heartbreaking. And so that's my roll of film from California. It's really disappointing to see that's the way it turned out because I don't know when I'll get back out there next. But when I get back out there, I want to make sure I've got a good roll of film or a good digital camera with film simulations so that something like this doesn't happen again. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments on what you think happened to this roll of film. Was it a user error? Was it the film might have been expired and I just wasn't aware of it? Was it developing issues? Let me know what you think. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've just passed 600 subscribers, on our way to 1,000. I really appreciate all the support. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. And hopefully the next video doesn't have a destroyed roll of film.